Representative, was it, Senator, it's good to see you. Was it when we heard from Mnuchin, we got sort of excited that it's on hold. Trade war is on hold. They've agreed to reduce the trade deficit. Was that all sort of, was it hyped by Secretary Mnuchin, or did people talk to the president afterwards and convince him that it wasn't as good a deal as it was made out to be? What happened? Just 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, that kind of process?
Look, I think it's a negotiation, and our president is a negotiator, and he likes to do it in public sometimes. I think what Mnuchin said was consistent, actually, with what Lighthizer said. It was sort of 2 sides of the same coin. Secretary Mnuchin saying, you know, we've got a breakthrough here. They've agreed to buy more U.S. products, including energy products, agriculture products. And Secretary Mnuchin was more positive than Ambassador Lighthizer, the U.S. Trade Representative, said, yes, but we've got to verify all this. And of course, that's required. But it doesn't mean that they aren't making progress. So I think it was positive. And, you know, I think it's moving in the right direction. There was new news this morning, as I understand, about car tariffs as well, that the Chinese are willing to lower the tariffs on the wholesale price percentage of automobiles going to China. So there's some positive indications.
But what we saw yesterday, the president's comments, squarely saying that something changed in the second meeting between North Korea and China. And here we are in the middle of a trade dispute with China. I mean, it was the president implying that President Xi is tying the trade talks to the kind of pressure he exerts on North Korea, and I don't see how it couldn't be related. And it's bizarre that, you know, nuclear Armageddon and, you know, tariffs are being discussed in the same context.
Yeah, I guess that's real politics, they call it. But we ought to separate the two. I mean, this is a long-term opportunity for us to adjust our trade relationship with China. And it's not so much about the deficit for me, Joe. It's about the fact that there is an imbalance. There is not a level playing field in terms of the subsidies, in terms of selling below their costs. China is not playing by the rules in terms of opening their market, you know, allowing U.S. companies to have 100% ownership of certain industry sectors. And obviously, the IP issue, and they are stealing intellectual property. There's no question about it. So there's some things that have to be resolved. And this needs to be done over a period of time with verification. And the other issue is
straight on ZTE, because here it comes.
Yeah, no, the question is, you know, whether you're comfortable with using ZTE as a chess piece in this game.
No, I'm not. And I guess that's the point, is that we need to keep the national security issues on one side and the trade issues on another, understanding that I'm sure that, you know, the Chinese leadership and President Trump's negotiators are talking about other issues as they come up. But this is a trade discussion that ought to be done separately and on its merits. And I think it's actually in the interest of China long term as well. And that point the president has made is that if they're a mature trading partner now, a huge trading partner, and they had to live by the rules that the others do.
Have you made that position clear to the Trump administration, that they should take ZTE? Are you suggesting they take ZTE off the table?
Well, I'm saying they shouldn't conflate the two. You know, they're very different. We got to be sure that our national security is not compromised by having ZTE issues here with regard to telecommunications, which the president's intelligence officials are saying is a concern. And by the same token, we've got to resolve these trade issues, and they ought to be kept separate.
And your sense is they are being kept separate, or they're not?
Well, I think the people that are negotiating on this, Bob Lighthizer, the U.S. Trade Representative, Secretary Mnuchin, you know, Larry Kudlow, are not focused on the national security issue. They're focused on the trade issue.
I mean, NAFTA, the people that that want to criticize the administration say that it really mucked this up, that it's not, that there's a chance to do it and it's passed, and at best you get I don't know, some type of skinny NAFTA now. Did we get too focused on China? How does this play out, the NAFTA deal?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we had hoped something could be resolved about this time frame, because by that we'd be able to take it up in the lame duck session of Congress. My view, as you know, Joe, and I've talked about this before in the show, is we've got a lot of balls in the air. I think too many right now in terms of trade. I think you need to focus on one issue at a time, in effect. And we've got the 232 issue with the steel tariffs. We've got what's going on with 301 with China. And we've got, obviously, NAFTA negotiations that are coming to a serious point, given the elections in Mexico and what's going on here in terms of our calendar. So it's a lot to do at once. And I do think we're making progress in all areas. But, you know, it's better to, I think, have a little more focus, and I'd have so many balls in the air at once.
All right. We got to let you go, but I mean, it stopped the Reds won yesterday. I don't know what happened. It was like, did you see that? They won. And are you a Capitals fan now? Just out of curiosity, since you don't have a hockey team.
No, I'm a huge Cavs fan though. So watch the game tonight. It's the critical game, 2-2.
Yeah, it is. But not as critical. Not as critical as the Capitals game, which is game 7. Anyway, thanks, Senator.
Thanks, Joe. Good to be on with you.
Right.
Take care.